There's an industry among us that has been around throughout history, even dating back thousands of years. But even though it has stood the test of time, it is a criminal activity in today's world. And that industry, everyone, is called prostitution. In today's modern society, prostitution is seen as wrong, immoral, and illegal. But I say we legalize it. Bold statement, right? I know, but let me explain why, and then you can decide for yourself what you think is right. But let me warn you, you may just learn some new information today and hold a completely different view when I'm finished speaking. Now, if prostitution goes back thousands of years, there must be something in the Bible, surely. And there is. In King James Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17, it says, "There shall be no whore of daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the son of Israel." Sure, this can be interpreted as prostitution is wrong and illegal because it would be adultery. We all know adultery is wrong, and is one of the 10 Commandments. But then we must also follow Matthew chapter 5, verse 28, which says, "Whoever looks at a woman with lust, well, he has already committed adultery." Does this act of adultery deserve jail time? I would hope not. But there's more in the Bible, and this one is one of my favorites. It comes from Luke chapter 7, verse 36, in which Jesus Christ had a prostitute wash his feet with her tears, dry his feet with her hair, kiss his feet, and anoint them with oils. Now, Jesus is a man I can get behind. He was a man of love and compassion, and he did not condemn souls. He was the Savior of all souls. And we all know that sex between two consenting adults is perfectly legal in any situation, but unless money is exchanged in return for this sex, then suddenly the act is punishable in the court of law. If this seems bizarre, that's because it is. Because in the United States, there's a thriving industry making pornographic adult films. And I say if the adult film industry can continue to make millions, well, so can legal age consenting adults who choose prostitution as a career. Because in the end, what is the difference between the two? A camera and a director. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't believe there's any other crime that becomes legal as long as you record it and sell the tape for a profit. Or next, let's look at what we can do when we turn 18. And we're told we have a choice what we do with our body. Well, we can buy cigarettes, we can get a tattoo, go off to war, and we can even die. We have the right to use and abuse our bodies in whichever way we want. There are groups that support a woman's right to abortion. Isn't abortion legal because women have the right to choose what they do with their body? Then why is sex not covered under this basic human right of having control over what one does with their own body? It should be a crime to suppress individuals' desires and needs. We see these men and women as criminals, but are they really mean and malicious people? Or are they people just trying to earn a living? Or maybe they're a modern-day slave and sold into the sex trade because criminals are running this business. Crime is a terrible thing in any community, but the crime surrounding prostitution is not coming from two people having sex. No, the crime is coming from the criminals who run this organization. This is documented in the graph I've obtained from mapsoftheworld.com, where they used information from the UN and the U.S. Department of State. Now, 79% of human trafficking is for sex work. Now, if this was legal and regulated business, criminals would have no place to take these slaves. But when the government deems something to be illegal, but the demand is still there, criminals will jump at that opportunity to control that market. And when the criminals move in, terrible things are not far behind. If prostitution was legal, we could bring these prostitutes off the streets. We could lower crime rates, improve public health. We could increase tax revenue and lift people out of poverty. I mean, we can see this with the war on drugs, particularly marijuana. We also seen it happen during Prohibition when alcohol was made illegal. I'll bring up Colorado's Amendment 64 in particular, and I'm going to quote John Hudak. He's the author of Colorado's Rollout of Legal Marijuana is Succeeding, a report on the state's implementation of legalization. And that was published in the academic journal Case Western Reserve Law. Now, John Hudak says in his article, Amendment 64 was approved by about 55% of state voters in 2012. And a 2014 public opinion survey suggests that 57% of Colorado residents continue to support legalization. The results also show that 61% of voters believe legalization has made the state better. Now, who's better to judge the law other than the citizens who are affected by it? The people of Colorado are telling us that legalization worked for them and is seen as a benefit to their state. So why not try this with the legalization of prostitution? The way we are doing things right now is not working, so it's time for a much-needed change. There's an old saying out there that the definition of insanity, well, it's doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Well, the war on sex is getting insane.